attempt to win in 2012 and everything in between. The populist revolution is real. It's happening. The working class is kind of tired of being kicked to the curb.
You've probably heard of the uber-talented and multi-award-winning artist, none other than Bruno Mars. For years, the singer has sold out concerts and topped billboards with his releases such as Uptown Funk, Just the Way You Are, Grenade, Finesse, and that's not even the half of it. But Bruno disappeared from the spotlight for a long time amid the fame. It's only now that his brother's finally revealing the truth about what forced Bruno to go underground, and confirming the rumors we'd been suspecting from day one. Curious about the real reason for his absence and what Laura Ingraham has said about the debacle? Stay tuned as we dive into the surprising truth behind the singer's unexpected break. Bruno owes MGM millions. That's right, Bruno, as we know him, has just walked in with a $50 million debt. The singer literally racked up an enormous $50 million in gambling debt in Las Vegas, specifically MGM. Bruno has been performing residence in Las Vegas almost non-stop since 2006, after signing a multi-year partnership with MGM Resort, and through News Nation, MGM basically now owns him with this $50 million debt. He makes $90 million a year off the deal he did with the casino, but then he has to pay his debt back. And it just is so interesting that people like Dre, people like Cody from Exposed Influencing with these guys, Aiden Ross going in with a lot of various YouTubers and artists, and now we have Bruno getting into debt. Bruno has allegedly been an avid gambler since his teens, and once spoke about his early days playing cards, saying he used to be like a loudmouth. You know the guy people would want to take money from. If you don't get them to lose, then you're out of it. Then you're out for you, they're gunning for you, Bruno said at the time. He also claims that he was 19 the first time he visited a casino. The residency has attended more than 200,000 people and grossed more than $53 million, becoming the highest grossing MGM concert residency. Bruno is a great entertainer, but this is what happens. He said he started gambling when he was 19. Well, remember, there are some places around, like California and some Indian casinos. You only have to be 18. The worst part is that Bruno is pretty much a prisoner with MGM now, and he is going to have to find his way out of this problem. Fans have reacted to this and they are not surprised. One fan said Bruno having $53 million in gambling debts lets them know that his next album is going to be a classic, real degenerate. Another user commented, Bruno is in debt with MGA Casino for $50 million. Gambling addiction does not play, but also sounds like it is time for his Vegas residency. You could have a line of credit with a casino, as we see constantly all the time with Dana White, Aiden Ross, we got Steve Will Do It. All these guys that are essentially just taking out loans, right? Like loan sharks, if you will. And now Bruno's pretty much working for them instead of working for himself. But the idea of Bruno being secretly burdened by a mountain of debt added a layer of mystery to his otherwise dazzling public persona. In response to these reports, MGM Resorts wasted no time addressing the rumors. They released a strongly worded statement categorically denying any truth to the allegations. According to MGM, the claims of the singer owing them $50 million were completely false. The company emphasized the positive and respectful relationship they had with Bruno, praising his contributions as a performer at their venues, including the Park MGM. MGM expressed pride in their partnership with the artist, assuring fans that there was absolutely no truth to the suggestion that Bruno gambling had led to such a dire situation. Their statement was designed to put an end to the speculation once and for all. However, despite MGM's forceful denial, the rumors refused to die down. For many, the story seemed too juicy to let go. After all, Bruno had previously acknowledged his gambling habits in a 2016 carpool karaoke session with James Corden. During that lighthearted interview, he confessed that there was a period in his life when he used gambling to pay his bills. This admission, though made in a humorous tone, left the door open for fans and the media to speculate about whether his gambling had ever been a serious issue. Fans were curious. How could someone so successful and seemingly in control of their career be dealing with such financial issues? The stark contrast between his public image of wealth and success and the claims of crippling debt only deepened the mystery. While the truth behind his rumored $50 million gambling debt remains unclear, one thing is certain: Bruno knows how to keep fans and critics guessing. Whether it's through his music or his silence, he continues to captivate the world, leaving us all to wonder what the next chapter of his career will bring. His ability to remain composed amid speculation only adds to his enigmatic persona. Fans continue to rally behind him, eagerly anticipating what new heights the artist will reach both musically and personally. Through it all, Bruno's talent and resilience shine, keeping him at the top of his game. The 2017 Grammys incident: Bruno is one of the greatest to ever do it, and after 8 years in the game, the singer was on top of the world. Uptown Funk, Locked Out of Heaven, Grenade, When I Was Your Man, Treasure, and countless other hits had established Bruno as one of, if not the biggest artist, of not just the decade, but of all time. The guy was just 3 albums in, and he already had a resume that rivaled the all-time greats. And with the Grammy season just around the corner, Bruno was believed to be going home with an award or two. That much was to be expected, but what ended up happening was a firestorm that almost ruined his career. When you think about 2010's music, there's perhaps no artist quite as influential to the sound and trends of the music landscape as Bruno. Think about it like this. The late 2000s and the early part of the 2010s were all about futurism. It was this EDM wave. And then Bruno reintroduced the throwbacks into the mainstream of music, and no one's heard an EDM song ever since. And you might think that this is giving Bruno too much credit, but go back and listen to like the 2011 charts and the 2010 charts. The throwback aesthetic was not there. In fact, the reason why Bruno's second album is called Unorthodox Jukebox is because it was experimental to do throwback music. And the only reason why Bruno's first album wasn't full of throwbacks was because apparently the label didn't want him to, so there's a lot of validity to saying that Bruno created the wave. And by the time 2016 rolled around, Bruno was one of the biggest names in the whole music landscape. And it didn't seem like he was stopping either, because a third album was just around the corner, and the lead single for the album, 24 Karat Magic, did amazing numbers, and the song would debut at number 5 on Billboard's Hot 100, and it marked Bruno's highest debut up to that point. And after that, it quickly rose up to number 4. However, the reviews for 24 Karat Magic were slightly worse than Unorthodox Jukebox. Could it be that after 6 years of Bruno dominating the airwaves, people were growing tired of him? The 2017 Grammys had a tough choice ahead of them. Would it go to the alternative pop coming-of-age album that is Melodrama? Or it could go to the psychedelic soul, funk, and R&B album that is Awaken My Love? Or it could go to the Pulitzer Prize-winning album that is Damn. There's also the 13th studio album by a legendary rapper that never got his recognition by the Academy. And of course, the throwback-inspired album that defined the current era of music in 24 Karat Magic. And with everything being set, Grammy night was underway, and by the time the Academy announced the album of the year, none other than Bruno had taken the award home. And not only did he take that award, but he also took every single award he was nominated for that night. For reference, Bruno walked home with 6 Grammys. That is tied for third most all time. There's Michael Jackson, Santana, and then there's Bruno, Adele, and Beyonce, and truthfully, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Bruno was simply at the wrong place at the worst time possible, mostly because people were mad, not even necessarily at Bruno, but the Academy as a whole. The mid-2010s were a time where people really started to get mad at institutions and made their voices heard. Not long before this, the Oscars got into trouble for being too white, with a lot of people holding them accountable when it came to their biases against minorities, and the Grammys was no different, because as it relates to this ceremony in particular, with only one woman taking home an award for a solo non-gender category. And just a year prior to that, the biggest talking point after Grammy night was that Adele had snubbed Beyonce, and that the Grammys had a bias against black people when it came to the big awards, such as Album of the Year. And of course, Bruno taking home every single Grammy he was nominated for was the face of that problem. As it relates to the big one in Album of the Year, he had taken home the award in a category full of 3 black people and 1 woman, making the win feel like it was based in politics rather than the music itself. After all, this is the same Academy that didn't allow The Weeknd to win in 2020 because he wanted to perform at the Super Bowl. So the narrative that Bruno won because he was the only non-black male in the category made a lot of sense to some people, while others just turned on Bruno because they saw him as overrated, creating the perfect firestorm to ruin a career if handled poorly. Allegedly. Think about Macklemore. That guy was set to be the next big thing in pop music, and then he disappeared after he apologized to Kendrick Lamar for winning a Grammy. Updates are reality when it comes to celebrity life, and something as dumb as winning too many Grammys can absolutely destroy your career, especially when you're being called a cultural appropriator like Bruno was in 2018. The truth, however, is that Bruno handled the situation doing the smartest things someone can do. He didn't address it. Now, it is true that sometimes that is a very stupid thing to do, but specifically for Bruno, it worked out, especially because Bruno had legends in the game like Stevie Wonder defending him, calling out the hate train. And because Bruno never addressed it, those who weren't in the know ever found out that this was happening. And in a case of satisfying everybody, the people who didn't like Bruno kind of got what they wanted because Bruno kind of stopped making music for a while. He has not made an album, with the only exception being his collaborative effort with Anderson .Paak on Silk Sonic. As speculation around Bruno's finances continued, the artist found himself in the spotlight for another reason. In 2023, Bruno and his musical partner Anderson made headlines with their surprising decision to withdraw their album An Evening with Silk Sonic from consideration at the Grammy Awards. The album, which had garnered widespread praise and commercial success, was a frontrunner for multiple Grammy nominations. Yet in a move that puzzled fans and industry insiders alike, the duo announced that they would not be submitting the album for any Grammy recognition. Bruno explained that both he and Anderson felt they had already won by receiving such an overwhelmingly positive response to their hit single, Leave the Door Open, which had swept the awards the previous year. He remarked that everything else was just icing on the cake and that the recognition they had already received was enough. By choosing not to participate in the Grammy submission process, the duo aimed to bow out gracefully, leaving the spotlight for others. Bruno expressed gratitude for the opportunity to perform at the Grammys and for the accolades they had already received, adding that they wanted to use this moment to celebrate the music of other artists. And with that, what could have been a career-ending event ended up being nothing more than a footnote in history. The cultural appropriation scandal explained. When Bruno burst onto the music scene in 2010, he was praised by many for blending various styles and for his eclectic array of sounds. His first album featured near-perfect songs that move from power ballads to bedroom anthems to pop reggae, according to Rolling Stone's review. But 8 years after his debut album and a couple of months after his first Grammy win for Album of the Year, Bruno's genre blending became the subject of debate about cultural appropriation. The argument, which raged throughout the weekend, began with an episode of the web series The Grapevine, which bills itself as a fresh and innovative take on the panel-style discussion. The episode featured a panel of more than a dozen young writers and artists answering the question, "Is Bruno Mars a cultural appropriator?" A 2-minute clip from the episode featuring writer Seren Sensei quickly went viral, racking up nearly 3 million views and being curated into a Twitter moment by Sunday night. "Bruno 100% is a cultural appropriator," Sensei said in the video. "He is not black at all, and he plays up his racial ambiguity to cross genres." Cultural appropriation refers to someone taking aspects of a minority culture, such as its music, and using it for personal gain. Elvis Presley, who became famous by performing songs written by black artists, is considered by many to be a cultural appropriator. While Bruno collaborates with many African-American artists such as CeeLo Green and B.O.B., he isn't African-American. The artist was born in Honolulu to a half Puerto Rican and half Ashkenazi Jewish father and a Filipino mother. Sensei continued saying, "Because people have realized that they prefer their black music and their black culture from a non-black face. We have artists now that are much more willing to step into black genres." Quickly though, many prominent black commentators began defending Bruno. R&B singer Charlie Wilson praised the musician, calling him a genuine talent and one of the best we have who is destined to be one of the greats. Bruno helped bring back that classic New Jack R&B sound to the masses when it was left for dead years ago and hard for artists to get that sound back on mainstream radar, Wilson wrote, adding, "Bruno's songs on this album are original and no different from any other artist pulling inspiration from genres before him." Then came the counter-argument to the counter-argument. Each side had merit. Bruno eventually responded to claims that he is a cultural thief and has appropriated black culture in his music and performance. The singer was confronted with the claims of cultural appropriation, which have provoked debate on social media for years, during an appearance on the Breakfast Club radio show. Breakfast Club host Charlemagne the God stated that people had accused him of being a cultural thief and asked what Bruno had to say to them. Bruno responded by crediting several of the black artists who had influenced his sound and style. He stated that you couldn't find an interview where he's not talking about entertainers that have come before him, and that the only reason why he's in the music industry was because of James Brown, Prince, Michael Jackson, and other black musical influences. The Uptown Funk artist was asked whether he was affected by the claims. He said that it came with the gig, and that there wasn't any real merit to what people were saying about black entertainers not getting their flowers, reminding everyone that that's what he's been championing, but it's just Twitter. Rise to solo stardom. Bruno's rise to solo stardom was nothing short of meteoric. After a series of impressive collaborations, he quickly made a name for himself as a standout artist. Let's dive into how his solo career took off and explore his journey to fame and fortune. Bruno's big break came through his collaborations with other artists. His work on B.O.B.'s hit song Nothing on You and Travie McCoy's Billionaire showcased his exceptional songwriting and vocal skills. Both tracks became massive hits, with Nothing on You topping the Billboard Hot 100 and the UK singles chart. This success wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was a testament to Bruno's talent and his knack for creating catchy, memorable music. The singer often reflects on these early successes and reveals an interesting detail. He believes that if he had sung the entire track of Nothing on You, it might have sounded like classic 90s R&B, which was not the intention. Instead, the collaboration allowed him to shine through as a featured artist, adding his unique touch without overshadowing the overall sound. On May 11, 2010, Bruno released his debut extended play EP, titled It's Better If You Don't Understand. This EP was a significant milestone in his career, marking his transition from a behind-the-scenes songwriter to a solo artist. Although it only reached number 99 on the US Billboard 200, it was an important step in establishing his presence in the music industry. The EP included a music video for the song The Other Side, which featured collaborations with CeeLo Green and B.O.B. This track further solidified Bruno's reputation as a versatile artist capable of working with big names in the industry. As his popularity grew, Bruno faced new challenges, including the pressures of fame and the demands of the music business. Navigating these pressures was a crucial part of his journey, testing his resilience and adaptability. As Bruno continued to rise, so did his earnings. In 2013, Billboard estimated Bruno's earnings at approximately $18,139,681. Making him the 12th highest-paid musician of that year. This was just the beginning. By 2014, Forbes magazine started tracking his earnings, reporting that Bruno made a whopping $60 million between June 2013 and June 2014, placing him 13th on the Celebrity 100 list. His financial success continued to grow, and by June 2017, he ranked 6th on Forbes' world's highest-paid celebrities list, earning an estimated $39 million from June 2016 through June 2017. The following year, in July 2018, Forbes named Bruno America's highest-paid musician of 2017, with total earnings of $100 million. This impressive figure also secured him the 11th spot on the Celebrity 100 list and marked his highest annual earnings to date. In 2019, he was ranked 54th on the Forbes Celebrity 100 list, with earnings of $51,500 between June 1, 2018 and June 1, 2019. But while Bruno's journey to stardom was filled with exciting milestones and financial success, like many celebrities, he also faced his share of challenges and legal battles. Legal troubles. On September 19, 2010, Bruno found himself in an unexpected legal situation following a performance at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Security personnel grew suspicious after noticing the singer spending an unusually long time in a bathroom stall, which led to his arrest. During the arrest, Bruno admitted to making a foolish mistake and expressed deep regret over the situation. Reflecting on the incident, he has since acknowledged his surprise at how things unfolded and the lessons learned during this difficult time. Despite the serious nature of the charges, Bruno was able to negotiate a plea deal that allowed him to avoid jail time. As part of the agreement, he completed community service and attended educational courses. By 2012, after fulfilling all the conditions of the plea deal, the charges were officially dismissed and Bruno put this chapter behind him. Since then, Bruno has not only moved past this chapter in his life, but has soared to even greater heights in his career. He has used the experience as a turning point, emphasizing the importance of personal growth and resilience. His continued success and positive outlook serve as a testament to his dedication and talent, inspiring fans to overcome challenges and pursue their passions. But Bruno's legal troubles didn't end there. The billionaire copyright dispute. On January 28, 2014, Demetrius Orlandus Proctor filed a lawsuit against Bruno and rapper Travie McCoy. The lawsuit claimed that their hit song Billionaire, which Bruno co-wrote, infringed on Proctor's copyright. According to Proctor, the melody of the song was too similar to his own music. Proctor asserted that he had held the copyright for the music and lyrics of the track since March 31, 2011, even though Billionaire was released a year earlier, in 2010. To support his claim, Proctor provided a certificate from the United States Copyright Office for a collection titled Frisky Volens. He accused Bruno and McCoy of willful and intentional copyright infringement, demanding that all copies of the song be destroyed. This included removing any unauthorized downloads from computers and servers, as well as eliminating physical copies still in circulation. Proctor claimed exclusive rights to reproduce and distribute the song, and argued that the defendants had used his work without permission. However, the legal proceedings didn't go smoothly for Proctor. The court granted a motion to dismiss filed by Travie McCoy, citing several issues. Proctor had not properly served McCoy with the lawsuit, and the court found that there was no personal jurisdiction over him. Furthermore, Proctor's case was weakened by his failure to specify which parts of his work had been copied, which was seen as prejudicial to the defendant. Despite this legal setback, Bruno's career continued to soar. After a brief period of silence, he released his second studio album, Unorthodox Jukebox, on December 7, 2012. In an innovative move, Bruno offered fans a chance to listen to the entire album a week before its official release. Unorthodox Jukebox debuted at number 2 on the US Billboard 200 chart, selling an impressive 192,000 copies in its first week. It quickly climbed to the top, reaching number 1 in several countries including Australia, Canada, Switzerland, and the UK. With over 6 million copies sold worldwide, the album cemented Bruno's position as one of the biggest pop stars of the 2010s. Despite some minor criticism, it managed to navigate the music industry without facing major controversies, proving to be a significant commercial success. Another copyright infringement suit involving Uptown Funk and Bruno, just when things seemed to be going smoothly for Bruno. With his album 24K Magic released on November 18, 2016, a new storm brewed over his hit song, Uptown Funk. This track, which had already set the charts ablaze 2 years prior, found itself in hot water again. The song, produced by Mark Ronson and featuring Bruno, was a huge success but also became a magnet for copyright infringement claims. The most notable controversy came from the Gap Band. Members of the band, along with their producer, alleged that Uptown Funk bore striking similarities to their song, Oops Upside Your Head. As a result, they were credited as co-writers of Uptown Funk and received 17% of the publishing royalties. This acknowledgement was a significant financial boon for the Gap Band, but it wasn't the end of the legal wrangling. In addition to the Gap Band's claims, several other artists jumped into the fray, accusing Uptown Funk of resembling their own works. Serbian artist Victoria claimed that her track was copied, though she decided not to take legal action. The electro-funk band Collage also filed a lawsuit arguing that Uptown Funk was similar to their song Young Girls. Meanwhile, the Sequence accused the song of infringing on their track Funk You Up. Adding to the legal chaos in 2017, La Strada Entertainment weighed in, pointing out similarities between Uptown Funk and Zapp's classic More Bounce to the Ounce. Despite some lawsuits being dropped over time, the controversy highlighted the ongoing tensions in the music industry regarding copyright and originality. The debates around these allegations touched on deeper issues such as the nature of musical inspiration and the fine line between homage and outright copying. Critics were divided. While some argued that Bruno and Ronson's work was a fresh take on the funk genre, others felt that the track was too derivative, raising questions about who truly owns a musical style and how past influences shape current hits. Gap Band heirs accused BMG of withholding Uptown Funk royalties. In January 2021, the hit song Uptown Funk grabbed headlines once more, but this time it was due to a legal battle involving BMG rights management. The heirs of the Gap Band members, Robert and Ronnie Wilson, filed a lawsuit against BMG, accusing the company of failing to pay them royalties for their contributions to the popular track by Mark Ronson and Bruno. Here's the backstory. In 2015, a deal was struck where 3.4% of the copyright for Uptown Funk was assigned to Ronnie and Robert Wilson. This agreement was a form of compensation for incorporating elements from the Gap Band's 1979 song, Oops Upside Your Head, into Uptown Funk. According to the lawsuit, BMG, which had acquired the Gap Band's publisher Minder Music in 2015, failed to honor the contract by not paying the royalties or providing proper accounting for their share. The heirs were seeking over $75,000 in damages for breach of contract. They also wanted 9% interest per year, dating back to 2015. The lawsuit highlighted that after acquiring Minder Music, BMG was legally obligated to pay the Wilsons all the income from Uptown Funk that was due under the contract. However, in April 2021, the Wilson heirs dropped the lawsuit without prejudice. This means they did not permanently end the legal action and could potentially revive it in the future. BMG defended itself by asserting that the allegations were unfounded. The company made it clear that no settlement or financial exchange occurred to dismiss the lawsuit. BMG reiterated its commitment to treating artists fairly and maintaining transparency despite the ongoing scrutiny surrounding the case. The legal drama didn't end with this lawsuit. The situation highlighted the complexities and challenges of managing music rights and royalties. It also sparked renewed interest in the broader issues of copyright and fair compensation in the music industry. But then, in a weird twist, Miley Cyrus was sued by a company alleging she copied Bruno. In a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles court, Tempo Music Investments alleged Miley copied elements of Bruno's track When I Was Your Man in her career-defining hit song Flowers, which was released last year on her ex-husband Liam Hemsworth's birthday. The lawsuit alleged that any fan of Bruno's When I Was Your Man would know that Miley's Flowers did not achieve all of that success on its own. Flowers allegedly duplicates numerous melodic, harmonic, and lyrical elements of When I Was Your Man. Tempo Music said Miley's song includes the melodic pitch design and sequence of the verse, the connecting bass line, certain bars of the chorus, certain theatrical music elements, lyric elements, and specific chord progressions. Tempo Music owns a share of the copyright from When I Was Your Man, released as a single in 2013 from Bruno's 2012 sophomore studio album, Unorthodox Jukebox, because they acquired the catalog of Philip Lawrence, one of the song's co-writers. The lyrics in both songs, released 10 years apart, do contain similarities. In Bruno's song, he croons, "I should have bought you flowers and held your hand, shoulda gave you all my hours when I had the chance. Take you to every party, 'cause all you wanted to do was dance, now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man." In Flowers, Miley sings, "I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand, yeah, I can love me better than you can." The lawsuit also mentioned the widespread success of Flowers, a comeback hit for Miley on the radio last year when she recaptured the mainstream attention she first experienced during her 2013 Bangers era a decade earlier. Her success with the song resulted in a pair of first-time Grammy wins. The song also earned Cyrus her first set of Grammy wins for Record of the Year and Best Pop Solo Performance at the 66th Annual Grammy Awards in February, according to the lawsuit. Bruno similarly garnered Best Pop Solo Performance nod at the 56th Grammy Awards. Cyrus performed Flowers at the Grammys in February. 2024 is Bruno's comeback year. Lady Gaga has been teasing her 7th studio album for months, which she and fans have dubbed LG7, but she surprised fans with a little treat before its arrival. On August 16, 2024, she released a new single with Bruno, titled Die With a Smile, which marks the pair's first duet. Sartorially, they've been suggesting the duet for the last few days. On August 13th, Gaga showed off a Bruno Mars t-shirt while playing the piano on Instagram, and the next day, Bruno returned the favor by wearing her merch. In the cover art for the collaboration, Bruno rocks a cowboy hat, and Gaga does her best Dolly Parton cosplay complete with platinum blonde hair as high as heaven. But Die With a Smile, which is styled in that manner, is only slightly country. The anthemic 70s soul ballad blends Gaga's emotive pop melodies with Bruno's old-school R&B influences, plus a little twangy instrumentation, which leads to an epic guitar solo. In a press release, Gaga explained that she was finishing up her own album after a long day when Bruno asked her to go to his studio late at night. She was blown away when she heard what he had started making. The two stayed up all night and finished writing and recording the song. Bruno's talent is beyond explanation. His musicianship and vision is next level, according to Gaga. On collaborating together, Bruno also sung Gaga's praises, adding that getting to work with the Grammy winner had been an honor. He continued saying she's an icon and she makes this song magical. Harlequin made its debut on charts all around the world, and it's actually already started its rollout. The set, which is tied to Gaga's movie Joker Folie à Deux, seems like it's headed for a lofty start in many major markets, and it's not her only current win on the weekly tallies. Gaga and Bruno's surprise collaboration sees both artists trying something new sonically, and it was a quick smash on charts everywhere. Since it debuted, the cut has continued to perform well, with sales largely keeping it afloat. In the United Kingdom, Die With a Smile appeared at number 1 on 2 charts. It already reached the summit on both of them in the past, and now it's back for another stay in the penthouse, as fans of both superstars keep purchasing the vintage-sounding composition. Die With a Smile currently sits at number 1 on both the official singles downloads and official singles sales charts, 2 of the UK's most important purchase-only rosters. Last frame it appeared down at number 3 on the former and in 5th place on the latter, but thanks to an increase in actual sales, it's climbed back to the throne. All those purchases also helped Die With a Smile hit a new high on what is considered the most important songs chart across the pond. The Gaga-Bruno duet steps up 1 rung on that competitive all-consumption roster, making a home at number 4. While sales are primarily fueling the Die With a Smile surge, the tune is also a winner on platforms like Spotify. The single returns to its previously set high point on the official streaming list this week. And that's all on the truth behind Bruno's absence from the music scene, his gambling addiction, legal troubles, and comeback to the spotlight. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more.